Hey everybody, good morning. Happy Monday. And something y'all rarely see. Monday, Haley, a wide awake live, and excited to bring this amazing training to you today, live in the Women's Entrepreneur Network as part of our training library that we're doing for Women's Entrepreneur Network. And I am delighted to present today's speaker. This is Heike Heemann, and I am so excited to have her because we're going to be talking about LinkedIn. I do LinkedIn, but I don't consider myself by any means to be a LinkedIn expert, because it is a platform that if you think Facebook is changing a bunch of stuff, oh no, it's got nothing on the number of changes going on with LinkedIn. And I think that learning how to use LinkedIn effectively is such an important tool set and skill set for any business owner or any professional. So I wanted to bring Heike on and do this amazing training with y'all, and just do this thing because it is going to be awesome and you're going to get some valuable skills here. And Heike, with that, I'm going to go ahead and pop your presentation up onto the screen and give you the stage. So welcome, Heike.
Awesome. Thank you, Haley. I completely agree with Haley with this comment about lots of changes. And some you may have already seen, some you may have overlooked or ignored. Now, I've only got one big new one in here, but I certainly am happy to answer questions about anything else that you might have encountered. The presentation here is mostly on some of the do's and don'ts that I find important, and especially for entrepreneurs who may not normally use LinkedIn and may overlook some of the things that are really important to preserve your personal brand, to improve your personal brand, and really make a great first impression on the people that find you on LinkedIn. So it's 3 must-dos, 2 things to avoid, and 1 useful feature you might not be aware of. For starters, as entrepreneurs, you all know that networking is a big part of finding your clients, and LinkedIn is the biggest professional network online these days, and is a great place to continue networking with the people you already know, but also connecting with new people. And it is a social network, so we'll go a little bit into that. It's your home for your personal brand. Now, for a lot of entrepreneurs, that means also your business brand. In my case, I'm a solopreneur, and so I'm the business. I'm sure the same thing is true for a lot of you, but not necessarily all of them. That said, even though LinkedIn allows you to set up a company page for free, your personal brand is always going to carry more weight until you run a huge corporation with many, many employees. Then that might change. But up until then, your personal brand is more important than your company page on LinkedIn. So what is LinkedIn? It's a bunch of different things. It's much more than just the old resume where it started. It's a blogging platform. It's a place where you can teach through your posts, your blog posts, your regular headline posts. You can learn from other people. They have influencers on LinkedIn. It's a place where you can have a company page, which could be your mini website for your business. It's a place for networking, and it could be a mini CRM for people that you interact with there. I mean, it's not a replacement for your CRM, but it's a starter edition, if you will. So it has a lot to offer. But one of the first things I would recommend for anyone is to update your headline, and not just once. You may need to do this regularly. I experiment with mine every few months. I make some tweaks and changes, but it's important to pay attention to your headline. Besides your headshot, it's the first impression that you make on people. So make it interesting and make them want to read more. Now, most people don't even realize they can update their headline. They think that the headline is basically the current job title. So if you're an entrepreneur, it could be founder, owner, president, but you actually have 220 characters. I'm not saying you should use them all, but you want to make sure that your headline talks to your ideal audience and helps them make the decision to click through and read more about you, and hopefully then reach out to you. As an aside, you can have a different audience on LinkedIn that you're looking for than you have maybe on Facebook or another platform. So for instance, if you are someone who does business direct to consumer, and on Facebook, you are looking to connect with people that want to eat better or train for a marathon. You might not want to necessarily find the same people on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, you may want to find the people that can refer you those one-on-one clients. So if you want to teach people how to train a marathon, maybe on LinkedIn, you want to find owners of athletic stores that sell shoes for runners, or you want to help people get in better shape. And on LinkedIn, you want to find physical therapists that help people get started after an injury, and then you can help them move on their fitness journey. So think about who you really want to talk to on LinkedIn, because you're not obligated to try to find the same people. As another colleague of mine in the same space says, you don't go to LinkedIn to buy a pen. You go to LinkedIn to find the owner or the manager of your Office Depot. So keep that in mind as we're going through this and as you're looking at your own profile. Now, when it comes to the headline, what I was talking about is what's boxed in here in green. And as you can see, there are quite a few characters available. So if all you have in there is owner or CPA or whatever your title is right now, you're really not using prime real estate. And what you want to do is tell people who you help and how you help them. And maybe some of you may even add something that they don't encounter when they work with you. So for instance, if you help women after pregnancy to regain a slender midsection, you could say you help those people without doing sit-ups. You know, what is it that your clients want to avoid that you can also add to your headline? Don't make it too long, but I'll have some examples for you. But the basic setup is I help people to do what by what methodology or by avoiding what else. So that may be some brainstorming to figure that out to fit into this framework. So here's some samples. Offering a path for women into property investing. You know who this person's talking to, women, what they help with, property investing. And then it goes on, are you looking to generate wealth through property? It's a question. People like answering questions, makes them think. Then there's an emoji in here. I'm not particularly fond of emojis and headlines, but it works in small doses. And in this particular one, it sure does. And then what this person followed with is some search terms. If you think about it, LinkedIn is a search engine. I call it the Google for people. So if somebody were to put into the LinkedIn search bar property investing, this person has that phrase in their headline. They probably have it in their about section and then also in their experience section. So you can add certain keywords that you want to be found for in your headline. Now, don't just stuff your headline with keywords. That's not cool, and it doesn't really make it inviting to go in. But this is a great way to do a headline. Here's another one, CPA for entrepreneurs and startups. Again, you know exactly who this person is working with. And then they share some of their expertise in terms of software that they can work with. So
Heike,
you know,
can you
sure.
move the screen forward? It's not moving right now.
Oh.
Click it forward, yeah. It's still showing me the front.
The what front?
It's showing me the first slide. It's not showing me the other slides.
That's weird. It's on my end. It's worked. I'm not sure how to do that because let's see. Okay, just stopped sharing.
Okay.
Now I have to jump back in here somehow.
Share.
Share slides. I have no slides. Okay, that's not working. Share screen. Share screen. Window. Okay. What do you see now?
There it shows the sample headlines.
Okay, that's how far I had gotten.
Okay, yeah, don't click from beginning. Just
Okay.
you can click on the slide on the left and it will advance it.
Okay. So we'll stick with this for now.
Perfect.
So thank you for pointing that out. So as I mentioned here, this person has listed the softwares that they can work with. Now, these could be considered keywords as well. And then we have 2 more examples before we move on. So content writer making much ado about you. This is someone who actually shows their sense of humor right in their headline. Humor is hard to convey in writing, but this person is a writer, so they've managed to do just what they're advertising they can help their clients with. And the last one also has keywords and talks about how they help people. Now, this one's a bit long because it's a long sentence. So if you're looking to change your headline, make sure that you are actually breaking it up a little bit. This is a bit much, but it's just another counterpoint. So who do you want to connect with on LinkedIn? Really focus on that before you dive in. And keep in mind, you can experiment. You can put something up for a week or 2, see if your profile views increase or not, and then add something else, make a tweak. This is not static, just like your website isn't, just like your blog isn't. You want to keep it current. And of course, what sets you apart from the competition is something to consider as well. So tip number 2, complete your profile. A lot of people don't do that either. They just put in a listing of the jobs they've had, maybe the time periods when they had these jobs, but forget that there is a lot more room for detail. And that is something you really want to fill out because, again, it gives you an opportunity to feed the LinkedIn search engine with keywords. Plus, the more information you have that shares about your background relevant to your audience, the more trust you're going to build with your audience. How do you do that? When you look at your profile in your edit screen, you want to go to the Add Profile section button, and then that will give you a drop down of what you have already filled out or that you could edit individually, like in this case, about, featured, background. And then it also, if you keep scrolling, shows you things you maybe haven't added yet. So really explore that. You want to fill this out. Tip number 3, set your profile visibility to public. I regularly come across people who invite me to connect and don't realize, for instance, that their profile picture isn't visible to someone who's not yet connected with them. People respond up to 14 times more often to profiles that have a headshot. So make sure that you have your profile picture visible and all the other components of your profile as well. The added bonus here is that when you set your profile to visible, it is searchable by Google, and therefore it'll actually come up in Google searches for your name, provided you have it filled out and there aren't 100 people with the same name that have a similar background. So in order to do that, you want to go into your edit screen and make sure all these things are set to green. So, or who knows, maybe by the time you watch this, LinkedIn has decided to make these buttons blue. But anyway, the point is you want to have your profile's public visibility set to yes or on. Tip number one for what not to do. Just adding connections to add your numbers. That's not really the reason you want to do connections. It's a place to start conversations. LinkedIn, yes, makes it seem important, and it is to a certain extent, to have a certain minimum of connections. And for them, they've set it at 500. Now, if you're just starting on LinkedIn, that may seem like an outrageously high number, but you don't have to go to 500, over a weekend. That's not possible anyway, because the algorithm is set so that you can't invite more than 100 people in a week. And if you haven't invited anyone for a while, they may slim down that number to 10 a week or 20 a week. So you want to ramp up slowly how you invite people and who you invite. Make it a mix of people, not just your ideal client, because you never know who might actually be able to refer somebody to you. And make sure that you mix people from different geographies. You don't have to go all the way overseas. That may be something to exclude when you're expanding your network. But, if you're in one state, maybe expand your network to the neighboring state, or expand people, keep other professions in mind when you're inviting people to connect. Your CPA, your insurance person, your business coach, whoever you work with, the person that did your website, Haley, myself. You want to mix people that you know with people that maybe you don't know. But if you don't know them, then see if you can, when you send an invite, have a personal message that ties into a joint interest. Let's say you went to the same university, you attended the same course, you have the same hobby, some kind of similarity. I was in Toastmasters for a number of years and connected with a bunch of Toastmasters. So find something that you have in common that gives people a reason to actually accept your invite. So when you invite someone, always personalize the connection request you send. And when somebody accepts your invite, send a personalized reply back. Alternatively, if somebody invites you, also don't just hit accept and then leave, but send a message. And here's why. This is something that I did. I always respond. And in this case, thanks for your invitation to connect. We're now linked. What made you reach out to me? Did you come across something I posted? I mean, you obviously want to personalize this message. And as you can see from the timestamp, within 3 minutes, I got a reply. Thank you for connecting with me. Actually, I would love to schedule a discovery session. The same thing can happen to you, but only if you actually take advantage of this. Because if you think about it, someone who is searching for a particular product or service is going to look for multiple potential vendors on LinkedIn when they do a search. And they may send out 5 or 10 connection requests just tied to that particular need they have right at that moment. Who do you think is going to get the business? Well, the person that responds. So don't just accept, make sure you personalize your messaging, no matter if you're the one inviting or the one who's been invited. And that is definitely a way to make a great impression. Besides, this is part of the CRM bit. You can go back to your conversation with someone and go, oh, I met them at such and such networking event, the Business Women's club event or whatever. Or you mention it, oh, I heard you speak at such event. I'd really love to connect. This is a way for you to remember how you got connected. And then another don't add connections just to pitch. It's very annoying and can get you blocked very quickly if all you do is send out invites that say, I'm offering this service. I think you're a potential customer type of thing. Don't do that. Make a connection more on a human level. And then you can offer your services at a later date. And there's certainly strategy involved with, how soon you want to do that and how, but don't just pitch either in your invite or in your first follow-up message. That's definitely a no-no. Also, speaking of invites, you're not supposed to include any links in your invites that generally will not let them go through. And you probably shouldn't send a link with your second message either, at least not something to a website that they've never heard of. If it's to an article right on LinkedIn where linkedin.com is in the web address, then maybe, but I generally don't click on links that I get from strangers. So keep that in mind. Now, in terms of a feature, why you want to do that, because LinkedIn is a social platform. You want to have conversations, you want to build relationships, so eventually you can get people off of LinkedIn onto your own website, into your own mailing list, but you cannot do that right away. It really puts people off, and you've just lost a chance to truly build a relationship. So a feature that you might not be using yet that is important for some more than others is voice recording your name. This was introduced last year, and I find it very helpful, not just because my name is almost impossible for people to remember how to pronounce, but also because I sometimes don't know how to pronounce other people's names. Besides, the recording time is long enough in many cases where you can add a greeting. It also helps people, even if your name is easy to pronounce, to just get a feel for your voice and do you talk with a smile? People can hear that. So this is an opportunity for you to record your voice. And again, in the edit screen, you want to go to the little edit button, and then you can voice record your name. So that's a great little feature that you can take advantage of. Now, thinking about what we just talked about, if you look at your LinkedIn profile, what impression do you give with that profile, with your headshot, with your headline, with the content in your profile? Are you the Starbucks of your niche, or are you the 7-Eleven corner store? Keep that in mind. LinkedIn ranks really high in Google search engine results. So for instance, if you search my name, LinkedIn will come before my website. LinkedIn will come before my Facebook information. So it's a really important platform for people who are entrepreneurs and want to expand their reach. Now, knowledge is power potential, not just power. And what it comes down to is implementation. So make sure to take action on these tips. And if you have any questions, by all means, feel free to reach out on LinkedIn or elsewhere. I'm easy to find just because of my weird name. So I'm open to connecting, and you can practice right away to send an intro or connection request with a personalized message. Now, I would recommend doing invites from your computer, not from your phone, because on the phone, it's really easy to hit connect. And if you don't do it quite right, there's an extra step that's hidden. You can't actually add a personalized message. So it's much easier to do that step on the computer and not forget about the personalized messaging. So if you have any questions, I'm going to stick around. I've also offered, by the way, a freebie that Haley is going to pop in the show notes. It's 7 tips for LinkedIn success that helps you more on the lines of moving your profile to a more professional level. And I have a mini LinkedIn intensive coming up on September 10th. If anyone's interested, I'm happy to share that information as well. And with that, Haley, I am done with the slideshow.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this training and sharing so much valuable information. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. I could talk about LinkedIn for hours.
And you should, because there is so much information there. to learn about LinkedIn as a platform. There's a lot of subtleties that people just don't understand, and then just go mowing over it, and then they're surprised when they get blowback or their account gets suspended or all kinds of interesting things happen.
Yeah, there's that, or they think, oh my, it's not working. I have to buy one of those expensive upsells, subscriptions, and I'm like, oh my God, no, you're throwing money out the window if you're not first setting your profile up and doing what you need to do correctly. You're literally throwing money out the window. LinkedIn likes it. Your pocketbook might not.
Yeah. Going into the Sales Navigator and not having your whole profile filled out.
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely. Very cool. Thank you so much for doing this training. I really appreciate it. I hope to see y'all soon. And somebody posted and said, please send the intensive info. We will get that up there for you here shortly. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you.